It's Dominic D'Angelo, and it's a Tuesday. It's Rumor and Innuendo, and I am of adfreeshows.com, SEScoops.com, and OneTrueSportTV.com. And before we get things started, I want to make an announcement. Today will be my final show. April Fools, Robert. I'm here with Robert Carpelastoni, creative _ Robert, happy April Fools, man.
So I recorded a Something to Sports Entertainment with this morning, and went into detail about the Cody promo and the ramifications of all that. And I opened that show, which shows that you, as my producer, did not listen, with a very long diatribe about how much I hate April Fool's Day, how I think it is an incredibly stupid day, and anyone who partakes in it must be a complete moron. And here we are.
Yeah.
Happy April Fool's Day to the only good thing to come out of April Fool's Day is the Simpsons gag from it. That's it.
Wait, explain the Simpsons gag. Remind me.
I'm not. They did an entire episode of The Simpsons about April Fool's Day. It puts Homer into a coma, and they wind up using it as a way for there to be a clip show. That's it.
Oh.
And I especially talk about how stupid April Fool's was in the world of wrestling way back when the dirt sheets in the 90s online would post ridiculous rumors. I thought it was super funny, like, hey guys, Goldberg just left WCW and he's joining the WWF, which he ultimately did. So most of those April Fool's rumors ultimately wound up coming true. You appear to be on a street corner somewhere. Are you busking? Are you panhandling right now?
I'm in the barrel place. The barrels are right around the bend here. I'm at Trace Brewery again. So you're getting the whole atmosphere.
You're at a brewery at noon? What are you, Blue Meanie?
Coffee.
Shout out to Blue Meanie, whom I love. One of the best guest co-hosts we've had here. Let's say hi to some of the folks who are joining us here.
Wrestling Old Head, the Rumor and Innuendo, I'm guessing, is the last live appearance from John Cena until WrestleMania.
Don't know why we would think that.
Would be good.
We'll get into it. Johnny Disco says, good day, R&I. Dre Owen says, happy R&I. Goodbye afternoon wrestling for now. Also got my order of Mando.
Hey.
Thanks to the promo code. Hey, thanks. Tim, thanks to our friends at Mando. Willie Thornbrew says, seriously getting Rock Hogan vibes from Cody Rhodes and John Cena. Not until John Cena hits Cody with a semi-truck. Or
he does a Real American Beer commercial. Boy, those were rough. Did you catch those on Netflix? Was that just on mine?
They have them. I mute the TV during the commercial breaks, because the nice thing about it on Netflix gives you that little countdown at the top. And look, there's nothing more annoying than when you're watching Raw and it gets interrupted by a commercial. You know what's also annoying, Dom, is not being able to eat the sugary cereals we grew up loving as kids. Yeah. But thankfully, that is no longer a problem thanks to our sponsor today, Magic Spoon. Magic Spoon makes high-protein, zero-sugar cereal and treats. It is reinvented from your childhood. You can taste the nostalgia. They've also launched a brand-new high-protein granola. Mine's in the mail. I haven't gotten it yet. I'm looking forward to getting to try that and absolutely demolish a bag. As I was away last week, I knew if it came here, my in-laws who were watching the kids, they would have gone to town. These are folks who've torn through my factor in the past. So no bitterness. I love them. They're great. They help watch the kids. But Magic Spoon's high-protein treats are crispy, crunchy, airy, and an easy way to get 12 grams of protein on the go. They come in mouth-watering flavors like marshmallow, chocolate, peanut butter, and dark chocolate. Also, this granola, which again is en route. Can't wait to try it. 13 grams of protein, 0 added sugar. I got the peanut butter flavor, but it also comes in a dark chocolate almond and a honey almond. And you can get $5 off your next order at magicspoon.com/rumor, or look for Magic Spoon on Amazon or your nearest grocery store. But go to magicspoon.com/rumor. You're going to save $5 on your order. You're going to help support this show. We're going to be super thankful. And we got a whole episode of Monday Night Raw to talk about, Mr. D'Angelo, plus other news.
Other news developing and moving around. Yes. We got some, let's kick it off. Cena and Cody Rhodes confronted one another. This time, the tables were turned as John Cena was set to speak, and Cody interrupted him and head him off at the pass. said his thoughts about Cena. They went back and forth. What did you think of this segment, which ultimately ended in a crossroads from Cody to John Cena?
So we kind of talked about this yesterday, that there's almost like a bingo card for things that we can do and can see in terms of John Cena. I didn't mean to make the "you can't see me" pun there, as I quickly retweet the link to our show to ensure that sometimes people say if I don't retweet the link, they don't think that I'm on and they might not tune in, or some might choose to tune in because I'm not here. Very, very probable. Sorry, I just looked up Eric Maroon through a pretzel, as you could call them, Whitey Whackers, which is a great Simpsons reference right there. Also, time for one of these pretzels, making me thirsty. Anyway, we have seen a number of different things with John Cena since his initial heel turn that we never thought we were going to see. And yes, there was a John Cena heel turn way back when he was the white guy rapper and had Bull Buchanan or B Squared as his heavy as his muscle. But the genuine John Cena heel turn, every time he's been out there, we've gotten something unique. There was first, obviously, the low blow to Cody, something we never thought that we were going to see. The second time was his first heel promo, where he openly mocked a child, which was fantastic. The second promo that we got from him was the first time where he was confronted by someone and he turned and walked away, backed down from a challenge. This, we didn't know what we were going to see. Was it going to be the first true physicality between the two of them? Was it going to be promo, as someone on the screen promo? We got the somewhat in kayfabe shoot promo. And for the first time ever, the most corporate person in WWE history, the mascot of this company for the last 20 years, acknowledged a broader pro wrestling world. That in and of itself is pretty revolutionary for the build that they are doing. And I know that I have been critical of WWE making reference to AEW, AEW making reference to WWE. I haven't enjoyed it. I don't like it. I think it comes across as odd and cheap. This one instance, though, this felt a little different. And when you get into that, these guys are really digging at one another to try to get under each other's skin. It would have felt weird otherwise. So I know it's like I'm talking out of both sides of my mouth. And yes, I am a lawyer. But for this one instance, in the guts of what this promo was, I think it worked. Broadly speaking, Dom, this promo, it was Cody trying to do the, hey, why me? What did I ever do to you? Why did you take the actions that you took? We could have been gentlemen about this. We could have had a title match. And he tries to already like front load it with the, hey, I've got a lisp. Hey, I was Stardust. Hey, I have a stupid tattoo on my neck. Hey, I dress like a hobo standing in front of a Beastie Boys album cover. That's just dumb. Sorry. We love you, Dom. Best producer in the biz. You look like you're about to drink 6 raw eggs in a cup right now. You're
I'm
full
gonna
on Rocky.
hit a full thing hanging meat. That's not a Bluetooth segue.
I was gonna say hanging meat would have been a perfect Bluetooth segment, but that's not what we're doing right here. But then it was the way that John took this promo. He talked about Cody being his chauffeur because they've acknowledged before, hey, we used to ride together or whatever. And this notion that you sat under my learning tree, I gave you all the wisdom, and you took every shortcut possible to get to where you are. And that I'm mad at you. And this was the phrase he used. It was like a political speech. You're somewhat mediocre wearing something meaningful. That I worked very hard to make that title mean something. And all you did was coast on a theme song people wanted to sing and taking pot shots at this company the second you left. I like that. I like that he's basically calling Cody a mark, that he has the neck tattoo, not because the neck tattoo is stupid, and it is stupid, but it's that you bought into your own gimmick and you put it on your neck. John Cena does not have a "you can't see me" tattoo on his arm. He differentiates the person from the character, and Cody can't do that. And that Cody should go to Fanatics and go buy a toy belt because he doesn't deserve the title. And that's all the motivation you need from John Cena to want to go after Cody. And then it became who can get under the other's skin, which is what we saw with John Cena and The Rock going back to their first ever once in a lifetime match that never, ever, ever happened again until it happened the next year. This is where they touched on a couple of the taboo things that you really can't touch on otherwise. One was Cody saying, hey, I am those things, but these people made me their guy. And they did. AEW never fully embraced Cody Rhodes. And they were never going to fully embrace Cody Rhodes because unlike the other members of the Elite, unlike Kenny Omega, who is the best bout machine, who's the guy who has the best in-ring matches in the world, Cody was never going to be a 5, 6, 7-star guy. He's very much a and then the bell rings kind of performer. He was never going to be the Young Bucks. The Young Bucks were the first guys to really kind of say, hey, we're going to break down the walls of kayfabe a little bit. We're going to dress like the Rockers. We're going to do 15 super kicks. We're going to acknowledge Meltzer. We're going to make merchandise. We're going to perform as wrestlers who are wrestling fans and be very niche and very edgy and very, we're going to do the Wolfpack sign and all that. Cody's the guy who couldn't make it in WWE. Couldn't cut it as Dusty Rhodes' son. Couldn't cut it in Legacy. Couldn't cut it as Dashing Cody Rhodes. Couldn't cut it as Mustache Cody Rhodes. Couldn't cut it as the broken Cody Rhodes. So he's a guy who, because everything else failed, he wound up on the indies. So they were never going to embrace him. WWE audience has embraced him. And then he points out, look, John, you were made by Vince. That was the reason why you got over. That's why you got the position that you're in. He then questions hey, you sold out to The Rock, which John never acknowledged. That's the reason, Wrestling Old Head, why we're going to get John Cena again. We have not gotten the John Cena Rock. We're together in this on Noah's Ark as the world is flooding. But then John took that turn. I built an empire for a billionaire while you steal money from their kids. John Cena acknowledged Tony Khan on WWE programming. It was meant to get under Cody's skin. We talked about this yesterday, that the idea was if John Cena could rattle Cody and Cody decides to engage in physicality, John wins. And that's really where I thought this was going. He almost got him with that, and Cody held firm. And then Cody brought up the only thing that John Cena, the kayfabe character, should care about, which was this crowd, this audience that he's performed for 25 years that chanted, "You can't wrestle." And that was the thing that triggered John Cena. And he took the shot, and it was a wild, reckless haymaker. He got caught, laid out with the crossroads. So on our bingo card, the two things we have still not gotten, we have not gotten a full beatdown of Cody Rhodes where he is left broken and you're wondering, can Cody survive this? And we have not gotten John Cena, henchman of The Rock. That's my filibuster, Dom. I talked for way too long there. You talk while I take a sip.
No, yeah, it was good stuff. I think I do, and I lean more towards the side of I kind of love the pettiness when it comes to some of the AEW references. I understand not doing it, but how you handle it, it kind of makes WWE feel like, hey, we're not intimidated by them anymore. Like, even if that's not what they're thinking actually. Anyways.
So the way you said that was like Kevin McAllister running out and yelling, "I'm not afraid anymore." And then he sees Old Man Marley and immediately screams and runs back into the house.
Yeah. But I liked this segment between these two a lot because Cody did kind of like air out some stuff that John Cena could rip on him for, but John Cena wouldn't. That's not where John Cena would go to elevate this feud. And I thought him being self-deprecating kind of added a connection to the fans even a little bit further, helped him out. But in turn, yeah, you get John Cena in a different light where he's making these indirect references to AEW or Vince McMahon or things like that, where it is kind of like, hey, I am taking shots at you. We're bringing the outer world of this all and making this feel like a bigger deal. And yeah, I think we maybe lean more towards it was John going to get physical with Cody instead of Cody doing that to John. And I think this is okay. And I think, yeah, you're right. There's some bingo card spots to still hit, but ultimately they're on the right path here. And they're making this a much more engaging feud as they're building towards April 19th and 20th.
Which I'm excited about. And then there was the rest of Raw, which I can't wait till we're out of London. As much as I love 3:00 Eastern start time, And I genuinely loved that Raw was over by 5:30, and I was like, "Oh, I still have my evening ahead of me to relax and catch up on John Oliver, which was great. A heck of an episode, all about tasers, which was hilarious because in watching that, a former coworker of mine was in one of the clips,
Really?
which surprised and popped me to no end. But that's unimportant, as was the rest of Raw. But Dom, take it away.
Let's take it away. Let's touch upon some of the bigger parts of Raw. Gunther, Jimmy Uso, we get that confrontation. Gunther really takes out Jimmy big time. Jay goes for the save. He gets zip tied to the ropes, can't help Jimmy out, and Gunther's just bathes in his blood, basically.
Where did we? Who would have thought that we would have seen Gunther kill Jimmy Uso?
Yeah.
Who would have predicted such a thing 24 hours ago and said, "Oh, the purpose of this is to straight up murder Jimmy Uso"? And all due respect to a friend of the show, Gangrel, this was the best bloodbath we've seen in quite some time.
Yeah. I agree.
It was gross. It was disturbing. It felt like they felt the flop sweat of this feud, and this is why you kind of have to. It's tough. I'm the first to admit this is tough to do because, again, we are all Charlie Brown charging at that football, and Vince was Lucy, and he would always pull it away, and we're always like, "Oh, they got a plan. They got a plan. They don't got a plan." We now know in Paul Levesque world, in Triple H world, they have a plan. They're not just booking week to week. They're not just flying by the seat of their pants. So we're going to tell a longer, slow build story with Jey Uso, that he wins the Rumble, that the narrative is first. People don't think that he's going to be able to do it, but he's still got the confidence. And then his confidence is going to erode. And then Jimmy, as a way to try to jumpstart that confidence, puts himself in harm's way. And then Gunther just absolutely annihilates him. So now, if you are a fan, you want to see Jey Uso not only win the title and silence the critics, but you want to see him get revenge after Gunther did what he did to his brother. That works for me.
I also think, too, if you look at who Jey Uso is ultimately over with, probably a younger demographic, this kind of build works for what they're doing. Like, if you're a new fan and tuning into this and you see, like, Gunther just beating the heck out of Jay's brother, and then he's covered in blood and everything like that, that's a new visual for you that you might not be attuned to if you're a younger fan. So you're getting more and more invested. You're getting that younger fan invested and wanting to see the payoff here come at WrestleMania. I just really, there's some head scratching stuff when it came to the early build of this all, but I kind of do like where they're piecing it together and making it go. And this was a good visual to have, I think, for anybody tuning in and try and get ready for WrestleMania. So yeah, I'm with you on that one too, Robert.
Couple of needle drop moments in the show. So they reunited New Catch Republic just to feed them to New Day, which I kind of like, just because I kind of feel like, well, Pete Dunne's a heel. We're just pretending that he's a babyface because his partner's back. So them losing here means that we will get, Master Dunne and Master Bate taking on one another.
Wow, that is quite the name.
And speaking of, no, I'm kidding. Not this week. All due respect to our friends at Blue Chew. So we'll get to New Day and the War Raiders, which is a fine tag team match for Mania week or the pre-show or something. I'm not entirely sure. But we did get my new favorite tag team, which is Penta-Braun.
Yeah, what'd you think of this, Robert? This seemed out of place.
It was weird. This is the second, they did this with Drew McIntyre and Nakamura, where they just threw them together as a tag team. It does feel a little lazy, and it's a way for us to ultimately get to the 4-way, but it was a way to put Penta on the show and try to show that Finn and Dom can work together and coexist as a unit, and further why Braun Breaker and Penta are not going to get along. So it was a thing that happened, and it didn't involve zip ties. The zip ties were stupid. I'm sorry. There had to be at least one pair of handcuffs somewhere in England. Someone had to be a sexual deviant now that Vince is gone. And there was just a pair of handcuffs lying around that they could have got. Rhea Ripley was on this show. You're telling me Rhea Ripley doesn't have handcuffs handy at any point in time?
That's a fair point, Robert. Yeah, zip ties look I mean, they're effective, but they're weak visually.
Someone who was handcuffed on this show
Oh,
verbally
nice.
was Mr. Logan Paul. So I
Oh,
get the
explain. Okay.
idea. I get the idea. Flying Logan Paul over to London. Let's make this a big deal. It's a big city. He's in some people's minds a celebrity. But on the show where John Cena cut such an effective heel promo, everything else was going to feel lesser than. And this promo felt lesser than. This felt kind of like generic heel Logan Paul, generic babyface AJ Styles. We know we're getting to this match. We'll get somewhere with it eventually. Like they will figure out a way to get more intrigue and excitement on this. But for right now, it just kind of feels like, well, this is a placeholder and it's going to be a good match on the show, but there's no real intrigue or reason to be truly excited about this match.
Yeah, I think even getting like a basic heel promo from Logan Paul is still very good because I think he's very good at being a heel. There was just so much stuff he said to the crowd that would rile them up and like dig under him and stuff like that. And I thought he did a really great job at that. I think it really
Basic heel stuff, yeah.
Basic heel stuff, yeah. And but ultimately, yeah, how we've been looking at this feud and how it's kind of been there but hasn't really. Yeah, it kind of does feel a little underwhelming. Still, I thought the segment itself was effective in what they're doing, I guess.
The segment itself was fun. I just thought by the time that they got to it in the show, it's like, well, we've already seen the big epic heel promo or back and forth controversial thing. So yes, you had the crowd, using language we can't use here on YouTube. And as a girl dad myself, I don't approve of such vulgarity and filth. And then in the main event, there was Rhea Ripley versus Io Sky, and wouldn't you know it, Dom, Bianca Belair. She called it right down the middle, just like your boy Fonzie. But a little bit of controversy. I saw some people online saying that this was a Rhea Ripley heel turn. I did not get that vibe at all. Was that your take?
No, not at all. I'd like think that, it is a little like confusing, I will admit, but I don't think it indicated that she's a heel or anything to that effect. I think more so it's just like, where are we going? And yeah, how's this? I don't know. Like, because I think a lot of the vibe has been Bianca is ultimately going to be the heel in this, but I don't know if we've even gotten that necessarily in this feud.
Bianca definitely felt like the heel to that crowd, but this does kind of feel like, I hate to invoke him again, but like the Vince McMahon thing, the it's passe with good guys and bad guys. It's all shades of gray. This feels like shades of gray, where there are people who are going to cheer Bianca because they love Bianca. People who are going to cheer Rhea because they love Rhea. There are people who are going to go nuts for Io because Io Sky is incredibly talented. It does make you feel naive and stupid to try to say, oh, how are we? We're going to have WrestleMania and there's going to be no Rhea Ripley. Like, get to the match.
Right.
Get to the night, get to the point. But before we get to WrestleMania, we do know that there's the Hall of Fame. They announced a match going into the Hall of Fame, which is a way to sell tickets. I get it. They're inducting Bret Hart versus Stone Cold Steve Austin from WrestleMania 13 into the Hall of Fame. It's a way to get Stone Cold there. I think we're tipping the hat a little too much that Steve's going to be involved in WrestleMania, but that's just me. I would have liked a little bit more intrigue, but if you're going to buy tickets to the Hall of Fame, you will see Bret Hart and Stone Cold Steve Austin, as well as Triple H, Michelle McCool, the Natural Disaster, Typhoon, Lex Luger, and possibly someone inducting Lex Luger, Dom.
Right. Well, Robert, we didn't get to cover this, and I wanted your perspective. I mean, the talk has been like, hey, Sting, could he be involved? Could he induct Luger? Obviously, has his strong ties to AEW. He's like an ambassador, basically, now that he's retired and stuff like that. So there's been the talk of like, hey, can they facilitate a deal? Will something like this happen? I wanted your perspective on it. Do you think this would be good for AEW to do something like that? Let Sting do it? Or do you think that there's been enough pettiness in between these two that it would not be productive for AEW to do something like that? And ultimately, should they do it?
Ultimately, no. As much as I want that moment, because there is something nice and poetic about Sting inducting Lex Luger, because anyone that grew up watching WCW, they were sort of one of the big through lines throughout World Championship Wrestling. They were partners, they were enemies, they were allies. When you think Sting, you think Luger. The problem is there is a pettiness. I go back to Tony Khan trying to claim that WWE was exploiting when Tony was tending to his mom when she was in the hospital with cancer, that they were trying to poach talent. I think that's how they poached Regal. That shows a level of ugliness of how Tony views how WWE looks at them. WWE has scheduled Saturday night main events coming up opposite AEW pay-per-views. That's not coincidental. So for them to just say, yeah, we'll let Sting go and do that, it's not like when WWE and TNA did their swaps where they let Christian get inducted into the Hall of Fame, and in exchange they were able to use some TNA talent for a video or DVD or something like that. Like there's been instances in the past where there's a little bit of horse trading going on. There are other people who could induct Luke. I mean, Flair comes to mind. And I'm sure the way that the Flair deal was with AEW, there's probably more leeway than there is for Sting. I don't know if they necessarily want to give Flair a microphone, but there's also the possibility that Sting inducting Luger is going to overshadow Lex.
That's a great point too.
I think that the moment everyone's kind of hoping for is Lex to be able to stand up and walk out of the wheelchair. That's what he's been pushing himself for, what he's been doing with Diamond Dallas Page. There is an argument that Cody can induct Luger, since it's something that they've, that Cody's the one that told him he was getting the induction. There's DDP who can induct him. Dre Owen says they should have the Horseman induct Luger. Well, we know Arn Anderson is on, friendly terms. I don't know that Arn is necessarily the best guy to induct Lex, but it's something.
And he can cut a promo too. So if you want to have somebody set the stakes for it all,
he absolutely can. But I think if you're already selling tickets to this show with all the other names that are going to be there, because if Michelle McCool is there, you're going to have the Undertaker there. If Hunter's being inducted, it'll probably be Shawn. So you'll have Shawn Michaels there, which means you'll have Shawn Michaels and Bret Hart there,
and Nash too.
Well, I don't know if they're going to trust Nash to make it up those steps. We don't have that. We don't have that kind of thing. Actually, his quad tear is going into the Hall of Fame this year. We're very, very happy for him. Do you still do work for Click This?
Oh yeah.
I just got you fired. That's fine. That's fine. I was a huge Diesel Mark as a kid, so we're gonna let it slide. But Dom, you do work for a number of other shows as well, so we'll make sure we plug those real quickly, including Mr. Rob Van Dam, which I saw you guys went live because I saw it come up on my little Twitter gimmick.
Hey, nice. Yes, we did. We went live on Friday, and we talked about a lot of different topics when it came to what's been going on. He fires back at his thoughts about the Jon Moxley spiked bat segment and everything like that. And, a lot of people gave him criticism because of him being in ECW and stuff like that. Well, Rob made his case and had a great defense for all that stuff and reasoning why he thought differently about it all. So you can check that out at rvdtv.com right now. And then also this Friday, Magnum TA and I will go live and talk about the week of wrestling, share some stories and more stuff like that. So you can go to fullhorsemannetwork.com. And finally, you can check my series out, Cleaning Up the Dirt Sheets. I had posted a new episode yesterday. I did go live. That's when I went live on RVD's Twitter yesterday to talk about media and the egos in wrestling media. So I name a couple names, but I also give a perspective and tie it into, not you, Robert, not you at all. Never.
Good.
But I do tie it into LeBron James, Stephen A. Smith, and that whole situation. So if you're intrigued, just check something like that out, give it a watch, and give me your feedback on it as well. Robert, like you mentioned earlier, Something Sports Entertainment was just posted.
Yeah, so on the Working Stiff Patreon, myself and Scott Chaplin yesterday recorded a show breaking down last week's SmackDown and Dynamite, which is a blast. Today, I did a deep dive, segment by segment, moment by moment, into Monday Night Raw. I do it from the perspective of being a former member of the creative team and how we're looking at that. So definitely go check that out on the Patreon. Myself and Scott will be recording for the main feed this Thursday. Which will be a hell of a lot of fun. You can get that wherever you get our podcast, which is the same place you can get the audio version of this show on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you listen to podcasts. I'm a Spotify guy. I don't know what else there is out there, but you can catch us live in video format every Monday through Friday at noon Eastern on a plethora of platforms, including the WWE Creative _ISH X account, the at Dominic D'Angelo X account, the at SE Scoops X account, and on YouTube on ad-free shows Rumor and Innuendo and Working Stiff. So on behalf of the 5th South Park member, Dominic D'Angelo, I'm Robert Karpoulos. Best of luck in your future endeavors.
Hey, want to get a hat?